Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of 876411, the live online entertainment review show here on Google Hangouts. I'm Mark Brown and welcome you to this new episode. Today, we're going to look at the ongoing situation with Buju Banton as he appeals for a new trial in his drug case. And we're also going to look at another controversy involving Alkaline and his very interesting fashion sense, and also the ongoing comparisons between him and incarcerated dancehall superstar Vybz Kartel, which have been going on really ever since Alkaline was. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But first off, we start off with this Buju thing. So as you know, recently Buju Banton, who is in prison on drug charges and a 2011 drug conviction in relation to an incident in the US in 2009. He recently won a decision in an appeals court to have oral arguments heard in court in relation to getting a new trial. So basically, what that means is you get to make his case through his lawyers. He's represented by Charles Ogletree, who has worked with the Obamas, who's a Harvard law professor. He's his third lawyer during this whole case since it started. So basically, he's making these arguments on the basis that he was entrapped by a U.S. informant, because remember, there was an informant that kind of dimed him out to the authorities when that whole situation was going on back in '09. And there's also there was an incident with the juror foreman in the case, who apparently research aspects of Buju's case, was found to have research aspects of Buju's case while the trial was going on, which is against the rules at the time. So that meant that there was a clear violation or conflict of interest there in a sense. Or at least that was what was found in the court of law. So, those things are the basis for Buju's argument, and his lawyer came out on RETV on Monday and basically said that if these arguments are successful and he's able to get through with all this, then he could be out this year. Which for a lot of Buju fans, a lot of Buju, there are some that have lost hope. I know a lot of them. I know a lot of supporters who have been with him from the start of this thing, from way before this ever happened. You understand what I say? There's a lot of Buju supporters. I myself am one, and there's a lot of there's been a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of people have been downcast, but there have been people who have either given up hope or just say, you know what, make him just do the 10 years and done, because you deal with the US system, you deal with a conviction on federal charges, and so the US is much tougher with them laws than here, you see me? And especially, there are some people who brought up the racial aspect to it, where it's harder for a black man to really get him way in court over in the US, especially if he come from crime. But either way, this is good news, because the fact that they might even listen to him case, because them see the inconsistencies were gone from the juror, and as I mentioned before, the whole informant thing. So there's a lot of inconsistencies that have gone with this case from the beginning, which people say, hold on, I wonder what try do. They might try keep Buju out there, make him a scapegoat of the whole thing, and put him behind bars and make a statement. You see what I said? That's how a lot of people felt. That's how I felt personally from our, reading this case from day one. That he maybe have been, not everything about this case was squeaky clean. So you wonder if they really pushed to have him, you know, put him in jail and have him out there and say, yeah, we not Buju Banton, we not this big artist who come over and get himself in a trouble and rearing. Now, while I also maintain that Buju was naive in that case, I think that, the whole thing from the first trial when there was a hung jury, there was rule of mistrial, to the second trial where all this gone, there's been a lot of shadiness with this thing. So I think now is the perfect time for Buju to make his case and say, look, this person. that I thought was my friend or I thought I knew put me in this situation, trapped me in this situation, and made me look to be something which I'm not. Made me look to be a drug dealer. Made me look to be, involved with the wrong people and be involved in drug trade. And, the foreman research, obviously research aspects of my case was found guilty of it in the court of law. And so what? It looks like a conflict of interest. It looked like, say, them deliberately are trying to take me down. So Buju, definitely has some points which he can raise. Now, whether or not he'll be successful, I don't know because it's a very tricky situation. We don't even know the date for these arguments, because apparently it depends on when the lawyers can meet, which city them can meet in and really. But it has some very good, good ground to stand on, and I think that when this case will be heard, there will be a lot of followers and supporters who will be hoping that this will finally be the time when the artist can step a road. But everybody I thought about the cartel thing for all long, I kind of forget what going on with Buju. Buju, from what I have been told, is at a facility in Atlanta right now. He's been moved around a lot in the system. One he was in Texas, Florida, and now he's in Georgia serving his time. So he's been all around the place. So we really hope say this can finally be an out, a legitimate out, because he's appealed before, didn't get nowhere, nearly get the gun charge which was originally thrown out when he was convicted back in where he was almost got an extra 5 years on his sentence. So a lot of setbacks, but this hopefully is the start of something, positive for him and maybe the avenue which can get him out. So we hope the best for Buju. We are praying for him, you see me? And, keep the word out there because, the media as well, people of my ilk have kind of, half reported on it a little bit. Like maybe saying, what, maybe there's a little rare hope here, but we're not really thinking of it. You know what I mean? It's maybe it's just another hopeless case. But let's hope that this is the lead. In future, when these arguments are being presented, and we'll know whether or not they'll legitimate, he'll get out or not. I will definitely have some Buju supporters because, as I said, I know a lot. But the journalists, friends, artists who support me, I know people. So definitely try to get one or two people on in future when those arguments are going on live here on 876411 and have a real in-depth discussion about this thing from the arguments to the whole start of the case. Whether or not this is even, plausible, whether I should just serve out the time and done, but with a new trial, but drag out the whole thing, because that's another thing, whether or not him even bother with a new trial in the first place, which can take long. So, you see me, it's one of those things, but his lawyer gave a lot of hope. So, if he was to touch road this year, listen to me, that's the biggest story in a Jamaican music. I mean, the cartel thing was definitely up there, but to see Buju come out when we all last two up and thought said, oh, we're not going to see my road till 2019. I just saw things set, get himself natural and rate. It will be the biggest story in Jamaican music we could get out this year, even early next year. You understand? It will be great for the music. So we're wishing the best. So as I say, future episode, we're going to have some Buju supporters on here and kind of have a more in-depth discussion about it. So we'll go from that now to a very interesting fashion choice by the one DJ named Alkaline. Now, of course, Alkaline, as you all know, one of the bigger stars in dance, one of the more controversial stars in dancehall right now. And there was a picture that came out of him or from him a few days ago. Apparently at a video shoot somewhere, one of the new songs then. And you want to see the man rock the big perm and real looking all, clean up your son and thing. But him have on some like cut out jeans or something like a long something. You know what I say? Like a long jeans and cut out, you can see tattoos here so. You can see tattoos all over him. In tattoo collection turn up, like it gone to the point now where I see every part almost every part of upper body covered in tattoos. You understand me? So naturally, people see this now, and also people were accusing him of bleaching I mean, artists and all sorts of people in Jamaica have bleached, but I won't say that. But this, of course, has drawn more conclusions or more comparisons between Alkaline and the aforementioned Vybz Kartel, who, of course, when them first bust and do the whole eyeball tattoo and them something there and people raise them eyebrows and them hear him flow and them lyrics the first time, people say, it's a young I did that, it's a young cartel that. You see me I say him really have the swag and the lyrics so him could be the next cartel or like cartel in some ways. So let's look at this comparison a little further because I have heard it for maybe a year, 2 years now. And while I don't think he has done it intentionally to be like Vybz Kartel because he has denied he's been trying to be like Kartel. He's denied that he's in any way trying to follow his footsteps. But at the same time, I think there are some similarities between the two artists that have become more and more obvious as time has evolved. Now, the first thing is the flow and the swag that I mentioned before. You look on Alkaline, who's an ardent youth, by the way, big up my school. See, him come out now, do the tattoos, him do the eyeball thing, and people want, oh, you have to tattoo your eye, you where you try blind yourself. No, people call him Alka blind when they first see that reality. But him have this thing to him where him do the unexpected, the most unexpected things they ever see in a life. You understand what I say? So he cover up himself and him doing business because him say whatever me do, me I do because me want to do it and me want to do something different. And that was something Kartel was always known for. Doing something outside the box when him did wrestle in here, when him did, when him get all the tattoos and some people are wonder if I'm a devil worshiper, I'm a devil and all sorts of sitting all over you. So it's pretty like a colored book as him would used to say. And him have him have the latest styles and come up with him own thing them. Him sing the bag of slackness, so I'll get a little bit into that later. So the two of them have that similarity where them like to go out there and do the unexpected where they catch people completely off guard, have people talking about them. They're both attention whores. They both love the spotlight. They both love people talking about them, yapping about them all the time because that's why they do these things. They want publicity. They want people to always talk about them. And lyrically, he's not, Kartel, as we know, is one of the greatest lyricists, if not the greatest lyricist in dancehall's history. And Alkaline has some, the fast flow, ability to change vocal tones. He have some similarities to Kartel in that when Kartel just was the Black Addy. You understand? He have some similarities to that. Not quite there, but he have a few similarities to that, and some of his song content is decent. So I can definitely see where people get that assumption from that him have that flow. I remember Russian came on here one interview and basically said that and say how Alkaline to give props to Kartel because in take some things from him but him not admit it and Ray and Tia to give props to him. I don't know about that because I can't force a man to really come out and say, oh, Kartel, a Kartel me rate and before like I can't force a man to say that. You understand? Man have to willingly come out and make that going. The second thing, and it's kind of following up on the first point, as I say, him, love the spotlight, love the controversy, and him just so say anything that is slack. Remember Alkaline first song before the whole tattoo thing, not a slack song, ironically. Remember the girl them in a them tongue and everything, and this X-rated video will come out. And have everybody attack like why this teenage youth have all them girl there and them show off every part of them body and reality and the whole nine and a lot of people were kind of thrown off by that. There was controversy over that. And Alkaline has this tendency where him have some lyrics in him song them will make it kind of course everybody remember that famous wash line. Let me elaborate on that. Yeah. Him have that famous wash line in him song and that take everybody aback. How the man sing about that in them song? How can I lose this my deal with and Ray? Now Cartel used to sing about every type of sadness in them song. From Girl I Got Down and this, that and the other with sexual. I'm like he sang about it with such gory detail, and that's what Alkaline has done in some of his songs. And if you look at the imagery with some of his videos as well, you can definitely tell him in the very similar end that I like, where they're willing to push every boundary to get to it going. But the third thing that I think that these two have in common, and not a lot of people mention this, and watching a few of Alkaline's live shows, is that he's not a great performer. And Vybz Kartel, even the most die-hard fans of his, knew that he wasn't a great performer, a great on-stage presence in that way. A presence in some terms of, him get the people then behind him initially and Ray and, get the biggest forward when he come out. But as a performer, he's not real. He was never really a great performer. He was never really taking command of the stage and, getting everybody, hype up all the time and Ray and T. I mean, have him gimmick Ray, as I said before, where him, we'll do this one thing, wine a girl on stage, or some one gimmick, like the time at Songfest when they'd have the handcuffs out, when them did have the whole situation, the personal interest situation that year. And him come out and him usually have those games that will get people involved, but he never really gets you fully invested into performance. You see me? He never has, and that's kind of a thing which he's been criticized for over the years. Alkaline is sort of the same thing, because if you look at his Songfest performance this year, most of the crowd never was into him. He was trying his best. He was trying to get people hands in the ear and move all around the stage and Ray and tear. But I'm just kind of nonchalant about it. That's the other thing. They're both kind of nonchalant. Like they kind of perform their songs on stage like how they would perform it in the studio. And anybody who knows music knows that you cannot perform on stage the same way you do in the mic in a one studio, in a one small studio surrounded by this, that, and the other. You're performing in front of thousands and thousands of people. So you think of a turn up, you think of it there another level. You understand? So Alkaline kind of go through the motion sometimes with his performances. Sometimes he might be more gimmickry too. Where my girl come on stage and bend down low on him and I remember the whole world thing on him and some bag of foolishness. You understand? So him go way out there to get your attention, and a lot of times it's thrown people off, it's got people disgusted, all of them thing there. So as a performer, he's not anywhere near polished yet. He's still young, he still have a future ahead of him, but he needs to fine tune that aspect of him. But in the end, I think that the comparisons, while valid, I don't think he's purposely trying to be the next Vybz Kartel, but because of the controversy and the polarizing nature of his personality and his work, I think that there's a lot that you can draw between the two, where you say, yeah, say him and Adi have this and that and this and that, where you can say, yeah man, them two really are parallels, these two really are similar, so we'll see what Alkaline does in the future. I just hope he cuts out the gimmickry and just shows more of his talent. That's why I think he's been slightly overrated, because his song catalog has been sometimes great, sometimes not so great. But let's hope that him can, just show more people his talent and not just all the foolishness just to get attention. Like the whole dog, the firm and the tattoo, like, I don't know. It's a whole bag of thing, but you see the picture and draw your own conclusions. Yes. Also, before I go, give thanks to everybody who support the new website. I don't know if you did miss it last week. We launched 876411 website. It's official. It's online. Can search it anywhere you want to search it. Give thanks to all the people who support the thing on Facebook and Twitter. We get over 100 likes the first couple of days on Facebook, and people are share it and rate the design, rate the content, because the content is something that I really emphasize on, because we're not doing no gossip thing, we're not doing no baby thing around here. We're dealing with real topics, real news, real, stuff while going on the entertainment that people care about. We're not go for the gimmickry. You understand? So right now, if you go online, you'll see more on that Buju story as I mentioned. You'll see stuff about Bob Marley's Legend album getting its higher ever place in a Billboard. You'll see all sorts of different things from news, sports. Also check out the video page where you'll see video, but you'll see this episode, and you'll also see a new video from Kiprich and Daniel D.I. for Ear Dupree. You'll see highlights from Jamaica's friendly against kind of reggae boys who's again what's new, and all sorts of things. But we give thanks to everybody who has support the website so far. So keep sharing it. www.876411.com. Support the movement, you see me? Share it all around on Facebook as well. 876411JA. That's our Facebook page. Also on Twitter, 876411JA. Just follow us there. And again, share the links, share everything that you like about the site, and any comments you have as far as how we can make the site better, how we can make it more interactive, how we can make it bigger for you guys so that you can appreciate it more and get more involved. Let me know. You can find, as I said, you can find us on all those. You can also email 876411ja@gmail.com and submit your ideas. Comment on this video. This is me I say we're happy to hear suggestions because we're trying to make this thing really professional, really live. You understand? So give thanks for the support every time. So that's it for 876411. I'm Mark Brown and peace out.